Entry 15. Blackwood Ridge Environs, July 7, 1918. Advanced further into the outer fringes of Blackwood Ridge today. The terrain is becoming more challenging, the trails less defined, almost as if nature itself discourages intrusion. The vegetation is dense, and the trees, though of common species, seem to grow with a peculiar, almost malevolent, gnarled persistence. My instruments continue to report no significant anomalies, no unusual magnetic fluctuations, no seismic tremors beyond the ordinary background hum of the earth. Yet, the feeling persists. A subtle pressure on the eardrums, a slight difficulty in drawing a full breath, as though the very air is growing heavier. It reminds me faintly of certain archaeological sites I visited, places imbued with a palpable sense of ancient age and forgotten purpose. I came across an old, collapsed trapper's cabin, its timbers swallowed by kudzu. A sense of desolation clung to it, more potent than mere abandonment. It felt as though whatever lived here had been driven out not by time, but by something else. I found no bones, no signs of a struggle, just a pervasive, chilling emptiness. The local folklore speaks of whispering winds and shadows that walk where no man treads. I usually dismiss such tales as mere superstition, the imaginative constructs of isolated minds. Yet, here, surrendered by this profound stillness, I find myself reconsidering. Perhaps these superstitions are merely fragmented echoes of truths too vast for the common intellect to fully comprehend. My phonograph records nothing but static where natural sounds should be. A worrying blankness. The absence itself is a data point, one that confounds my scientific understanding. Deeper penetration into ridge. Continued absence of measurable anomalies, yet pervasive atmospheric disquiet. Cabin found. Inexplicable sense of abandonment. Entry 16. Near Blackwood Ridge, July 8, 1918. A difficult day. I attempted to establish a more permanent base camp closer to the reputed heart of the ridge, but something resisted. Not a physical barrier, but an almost psychological one. The very air seemed to thicken, pressing down upon me, inducing a mild vertigo and an inexplicable sense of apprehension. My compass needle began to twitch erratically, refusing to settle, a phenomenon I've only observed near large ore deposits, yet there are none mapped here. I encountered no large game today, not even squirrel or bird. The silence is absolute, unnerving. It's the silence of a place that is not merely quiet, but utterly devoid of natural life. This cannot be mere coincidence. The local fauna, typically robust in these mountains, seems to have abandoned this specific area entirely. I spent hours running a series of very low-frequency acoustic tests, hoping to pick up any resonant frequencies from the earth, any subtle vibrations that might betray an underlying structure or phenomenon. Nothing. The sound waves simply seemed to dissipate into the oppressive stillness, absorbed by something. As dusk settled, the western sky glowed with an unusual, almost sickly greenish hue, even though no storm clouds were present. It was a color I could not easily identify, a tint that seemed alien to the natural palette. It lingered for far too long, a silent, unsettling omen. I am setting up camp tonight by an old half-collapsed cabin, hoping its ruined timbers offer some negligible shelter from the palpable strangeness of this place. The sense of dread has become more pronounced, a constant, low thrum beneath my conscious thoughts. My rational mind strains against it, demanding logical explanations, but the evidence, or rather the lack of it, defies all conventional understanding. I feel a growing certainty that I am on the precipice of a discovery that will fundamentally alter my perception of the cosmos. Attempted closer camp. psychological resistance and compass anomalies, absolute silence of fauna, unnatural sky hue at dusk, proximity to a profound discovery feels imminent. Entry 17. Blackwood Ridge, July 9, 1918. The scent of pine and damp earth clung to me like a second skin as I established my base camp near a half-collapsed cabin, its timbers groaning under the weight of kudzu. This region of the Appalachians, specifically Blackwood Ridge, has been a phantom on my radar for years. Locals avoid it with a chilling, unspoken accord, a perfect intersection of folklore and inexplicable silence that my work thrives on. Ostensibly, I'm here for a geological survey, a convenient facade for the true nature of my inquiries into the deeper currents of existence. The ambience is thick, not just with humidity, but with a palpable sense of otherness. Even the mundane feels charged. My usual tools, the newly developed seismograph, atmospheric pressure gauges, even my Edison phonograph adapted for field recordings, are picking up nothing. An eerie, profound silence emanates from the ridge's heart, a stark contrast to the usual chorus of cicada and nocturnal wildlife. It's the absence of sound that is most unsettling, a void where life should hum. Tonight, a low-frequency thrumming began, vibrating through the very earth and up into my bones. It was no natural phenomenon, not thunder, certainly not any animal sound I've catalogued in my expeditions across the globe. This was ancient, a deep resonance that spoke of impossibly slow processes, of geological time scales that dwarf human comprehension. It wasn't loud, but it was felt, a visceral understanding that whatever caused it predated the mountains themselves, a truly humbling, almost terrifying realization for a man accustomed to deciphering human-made complexities. The dread that unfurled in my gut was primal, a cold, tightening knot of understanding. My existence, my very species, felt like a fleeting, inconsequential blink in the universe's indifferent eye. My rational mind, so adept at pattern recognition and logical deduction, found itself staring into an abyss of the utterly illogical. The stars, usually a comforting blanket over my solitary field work, seemed to press down tonight, vast and uncaring, their glittering indifference a cosmic mirror to the feeling gnawing at me. Tomorrow, the silence permitting, I will venture deeper into Blackwood Ridge. My instruments may remain mute, but something is undeniably here. And for a cryptologist, the most profound codes are often found in the unwritten, the unspeakable, the unknowable. The great war rages across the seas, a testament to humanity's folly. But here, in this forgotten corner of the world, I sense a conflict far older, far grander, and infinitely more terrifying. Initial impressions. Cosmic resonance detected. Existential implications escalating. Sanity check pending. Entry 18. Blackwood Ridge, July 10, 1918. The thrumming persisted through the night, a low, maddening pulse that seemed to resonate directly behind my eyes. Sleep was a fleeting, feverish dance on the edge of a precipice. The sunrise, when it finally arrived, offered no comfort. The light filtering through the dense canopy felt anemic, struggling against an unseen oppression. My expedition into the heart of Blackwood Ridge could no longer be delayed. I followed a barely discernible game trail, the undergrowth thick and grasping. The trees here were unlike any I've documented. Their branches gnarled and twisted into grotesque, skeletal fingers that clawed at the oppressive sky. The air grew heavy, not with humidity, but with a palpable sense of pressure, as though the very atmosphere were being squeezed by an unseen hand. The familiar sounds of the forest faded behind me, replaced by an absolute, profound silence that vibrated with its own peculiar energy. It was a silence that spoke volumes. Then, I found it. Not a cave, not a ravine, but a fissure in the earth, a jagged wound that seemed to have been torn open by something impossibly vast, something that defied the slow, majestic work of geological forces. It was a rent in the very fabric of the world. From within, a faint, sickly luminescence pulsed, casting an unnatural glow on the ancient, moss-covered rocks around its moor. The air that wafted from it was a vile concoction of ozone and stagnant water, a smell that clung to the back of my throat and stirred an instinctual revulsion. Driven by a terrible, morbid curiosity, the same fatal flaw that has lured so many men to their intellectual doom, I dared to peer inside. The light within was not illuminating but absorbing, pulling at my very vision, distorting it. I saw no distinct form, only a shifting, inchoate mass, a kaleidoscope of impossible angles and colors that defied my brain's ability to process them. My mind grappled with the visual input, attempting to impose order, to categorize, to understand, but it was like trying to grasp smoke. A sound, not a voice, but a thought, vast and cold as the void between stars, echoed in my mind, resonating with a chilling finality. You are less than dust. I stumbled back, retching, my stomach heaving with a sudden, overwhelming nausea. The world reeled around me, the ancient trees spinning into a dizzying vortex. My geological maps, my meticulously crafted scientific instruments, my neatly organized notes, they were all meaningless. A child scribbles in the face of this overwhelming, cosmic truth. The beauty of the mountains, the comfort of human connection, even the very concepts of good and evil, dissolved into an absurd, grotesque charade. I had glimpsed the true nature of reality, a cosmic indifference so profound it bordered on contempt, a vast, unknowable entity that simply was, with no regard for the fragile flicker of human existence. I write this now, huddled in my tent, the words spilling onto the page like blood from a wound. The thrumming has intensified, a constant, low roar in my ears. I feel a chill that penetrates deeper than any mountain air, a cold born of ultimate revelation. Sleep will not come tonight. Perhaps it will never come again. Cosmic entity encountered. Existential dread confirmed. Sanity rapidly deteriorating. Entry 19. Blackwood Ridge, July 11th, 1918. The thrumming has not ceased. It's no longer an external sound, but an internal tremor, a resonance in my very bones, a constant reminder of the impossible thing I witnessed. The journal is all that remains. My field equipment lies discarded, the delicate needles of the seismograph twitching aimlessly, mocking my former belief in measurable realities. What good are measurements when the universe itself has revealed its indifference? Sleep is a forgotten luxury. Every shadow seems to ride with the memory of those impossible angles, those sickening hues that defy description. My mind races, caught in a frantic loop, trying to reconcile the vast, cold truth with the comforting lies of a sane world. I try to recall the names of plants, the geological strata of these mountains, anything to ground myself, but the words scatter like dust motes in a shaft of unnatural light. I ate a meager portion of hardtack and dried beef this morning, but the food tasted like ash. My hands shake, making it difficult to even hold the pen. The isolation here, once a solace, has become a torment. There is no one to speak to, no one who could possibly understand. The world beyond this ridge, with its great war and its petty human concerns, feels impossibly distant, a dream I once inhabited. How can humanity continue its struggles when such vast, uncaring entities merely exist? The thought that echoed in my mind yesterday, "You are less than dust," plays on an endless loop. It's not a threat, merely a statement of fact, delivered with the chilling clarity of absolute indifference. It strips away all pretense, all meaning. My life, my work, the very concept of human progress, it's all a fleeting flicker against an eternal, unknowable night. I find myself compelled to return to the fissure, though every fiber of my being screams in protest. There's a terrible, magnetic pull, a morbid curiosity that overrides all sense of self-preservation. Perhaps it is madness setting in, or perhaps it is the insidious influence of what lies within that impossible tear in reality. I feel it drawing me, not with malice, but with the gravitational pull of a revelation too profound for mortal minds to bear. I must record what happens next, if only to leave a testament to the truth, however horrifying. If these entries ever see the light of day, let them serve as a warning. Some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed. Compulsion to return. Reality fracturing. End near. Entry 20. Blackwood Ridge, July 11th, 1918, late evening. The thrumming is no longer in my head. It is my head. My entire body vibrates with it. A constant, sickening oscillation that makes my teeth ache and my vision swim. I return to the fissure, drawn by an invisible, irresistible cord. The air there was thick with the foul, metallic stench, and the pulsing, sickly luminescence seemed to swell and contract with each beat of that impossible rhythm. I dared to peer in again. This time, the shifting colors and impossible angles resolved, for a fleeting, excruciating moment, into something that defied all human geometry. It was a shape, yet it had no shape, a presence, yet it was not corporeal. And from it, a silent, crushing thought expanded in my mind, not words, but pure, unadulterated knowing. You are less than dust. Your struggles are less than the stirring of gnats. We are, and you are not. It wasn't malice, nor anger. It was an utter, profound indifference that was more terrifying than any hate. It was the understanding that my entire existence, my species' entire history, was a microscopic, meaningless tremor in the vast, uncaring cosmos. The weight of that truth crushed my mind, severing the last fragile threads of my sanity. I fell back, gasping, my brain screaming in silent protest, trying to unsee, unknow, unfeel. The world dissolved into a kaleidoscope of impossible hues and guttural, resonating thrums. I remember crawling, dragging myself away from the fissure, the very ground seeming to heave and churn beneath me. The trees writhed, their gnarled branches reaching for me like skeletal hands. The green light pulsed, mocking, illuminating the utter futility of my struggle. I do not know how long I lay there, lost in that maelstrom of cosmic horror. Hours, days, time ceased to have meaning. I was no longer a man. I was merely a vessel for a terrifying, overwhelming truth. The thrumming became a part of me, a constant, low roar that drowns out all other thought, all other sensation. I am consumed. My purpose, my quest for knowledge, has ended in this, the complete and utter annihilation of my mind. There is no more I, only the resonant silence and the crushing weight of the indifferent cosmos. This is the end, witnessed ultimate truth, mind shattered, consumed by cosmic indifference. This is the end of the journal. No further entries will be made from Blackwood Ridge. Entry 21. Train to Knoxville. Unspecified date. Likely late July, early August 1918. The rhythmic clatter of the train wheels on the tracks is a strange comfort. A predictable, mundane sound after the resonant thrumming that still echoes in the hollows of my mind. My clothes are torn, my face gaunt, my hands scarred and trembling, but I am on this train, leaving Blackwood Ridge behind. So I tell myself. The landscape outside the window, once a source of fascination, is now merely a blur of green and brown. My mind struggles to form coherent thoughts, to recall the specifics of how I escaped. There are gaps, vast, terrifying lacunae in my memory, filled only with the lingering taste of ozone and the echo of an impossible thought. You are less than dust. My body feels leaden, perpetually exhausted, yet sleep offers no true rest, only fleeting, fragmented nightmares of shifting angles and indifferent eyes. I clutch this journal, its pages damp and stained. The ink of my final entries a testament to a truth too terrible for human minds. I found it in the wreckage of my mind, the last coherent act of a man undone. The other passengers look at me with a mixture of pity and revulsion. I can tell. They see a broken man. They do not see the abyss I peered into, the cosmic truth that devoured my sanity. They do not hear the constant, low thrum that is my new heartbeat. Knoxville. The word itself is a fragile anchor. Home. The thought of her, my dearest Eleanor, my beloved wife, is the only beacon in the encroaching darkness. Her letters, tucked into my breast pocket, speak of her well-being, of the little one growing within her. A child, a new life, the very antithesis of the crushing indifference I witnessed. I must return to her. I must. Her warmth, her sanity, her simple, human love. They are the only hope of pulling me back from the brink, of rebuilding the shattered remnants of my mind. I cannot tell her what I saw, what I learned. It would break her, just as it broke me. I must create a new reality, a new pretense of normalcy. The world will continue its war, its petty squabbles, unaware of the vast, cold indifference that blankets the cosmos. I am merely a damaged messenger, a silent testament to a truth too profound for humanity's fragile understanding. I cannot wait to feel her hand in mine, to see the light in her eyes. I am coming home, Eleanor. I am coming home. And I will try, God help me, I will try to forget. On train to Knoxville. Mind shattered, memory fragmented, lingering effects of encounter. Eleanor and unborn child are my anchors. Must maintain normalcy, conceal truth. Heading home, attempting to forget.